Golf season is officially underway with the first of four majors, the 2025 Masters, playing out this weekend. The world's best players have descended in on the beautiful Augusta, Georgia golf course. Those of us who are hobbyist golfers would love nothing more to play golf all the time, especially in places like Augusta. For me, it's a dream. But a lot of us that are in the throes of parenting, working full-time, and juggling a host of other things, golf is a rare and expensive treat. It's not something we get to do whenever we feel. Today's podcast features the story of a guy named Chase, who had a small window to play around, but the tables turned, and so did his golf cart. What happens next is where we can all learn a few lessons on the value of taking life at a slower pace. We'll be right back to dive into Chase's story. You are listening to the Work Life Eubiosis podcast with your host, Charleston Edwards. If this is your first time here, welcome. My goal is simple: to eradicate burnout and to bring harmony, purpose, and balance to this world, starting with the family. My hope is that this show and the story shared will provide encouragement and ideas that will be valuable to you on your journey to work-life freedom. So let's dive in to today's episode. After a lengthy hiatus from his favorite hobby, Chase Burns got a rare 2-hour window to play golf in the middle of a work week. Given the chance to go 19 or 18 holes, he looked at his watch and asked the guy working at the pro shop, "How crowded is the course this afternoon?" Upon hearing the correct answer, Chase responds, "I'll go for 18. Chase latches his clubs on the back of his only cart that's available and presses on the pedal. Nothing happened even after priming. Out of gas. In aggravation of losing daylight, Chase walks over to one of the grounds workers and asks for help. The groundskeeper said that all the carts had been put away, but he has one other cart available that hasn't been locked away, but it's missing the governor. "I'll take it," exclaimed Chase. Chase speeds through his round and plays better than expected. He was proud that his swing had returned to him like riding a bike. The round took a sharp turn of events on the 17th hole after an errant tee shot hooks left into the woods. Chase accelerates down the cart path to search for his ball. In a panic to find the ball and finish his round before dark, he hits the gas instead of the brakes at the bottom of the hill. Chase's life flashed before his eyes. The cart sped into the sharp curve, rolled over multiple times, and tossed Chase into a ditch. Fortunately, Chase only suffered minor injuries, but the cart was destroyed. After a battle of insurances with the golf course, Chase finally settled 10 months later and only had to come out of pocket $1,000 in damages. But the back and forth for weeks at a time on liability versus reckless driving took its toll. Chase's need for speed on the golf course illustrates how he runs his life. This freak accident changed Chase's life, but the story is not as rare as one would think. I used to be Chase. I used to love speeding through a round of golf, and speeding through bedtime stories with my kids, and speeding through the airport just to wait, and speeding on to the next thing instead of appreciating what was in front of me. Maybe you can relate to Chase as well. Perhaps we all need to reassess our need for a governor. For non-mechanical listeners, the governor on a golf cart is a stabilizing safety device that keeps the cart from going above a reckless speed. Governors prevents accidents and helps drivers drive at a pace suitable for the golf course. For the story that was just told, we can argue that this was the fault of the groundskeeper. But Chase also had a choice. Chase learned his lesson on the golf course, but what about in his life? Chase was already overwhelmed and overworked before this accident. From an outsider's perspective, nothing was really wrong in the home or even at work. But that goes for all of us. We can put on facades as we run our races, but what is really going on in the insides of our homes and in the inside of our hearts? Chase was trying to survive in burnout. He was searching for solutions in the wrong place. He chose a Band-Aid, but ended up with more bandages. Let's actually take a visit to the home to see what's actually happening with Chase. And I'm using the name Chase, but let's insert our own names into this story. Chase is a loyal and dedicated worker. However, he is burned out. He is a husband and a father of 3 children. Daily, he runs from 4 a.m. until midnight, juggling work and home. To add on, he travels almost every other week for his job. His wife, Crystal, also works full-time. She's loyal to her career and carries the weight of orchestrating all things kids, homework, doctor's visits, and extracurricular activities. Every day, both parents dart off to their day jobs, which leave them constantly fatigued. Both work in fast-paced environments with overloaded calendars and inboxes without any white space. 6 p.m. hits, and both parents are walking into the house. Neither are done with work, but both are utterly exhausted, flipping a coin to decide who will play with the kids and who will pick up food. Chase is counting the clock until the kids goes to bed. 8 p.m. comes, and the kids, who should be in bed, are now running amok. A few screams later, the kids finally settle down to a prayer and a short story where Chase has skipped a few pages to accelerate the evening. Chase and Crystal jump back onto their devices with a beer and a glass of wine until they are too exhausted to work anymore. 4 a.m. alarm goes off and the cycle starts all over. Saturday comes and the weekend grind starts. There's a youth league game starting at 7 a.m. and it's a 2-hour drive away. Later in the day, Chase and Crystal tag team household chores, grocery shopping, and activities at the church. The rat race continues. Saturday night, the babysitter arrives just as the pizza is delivered for the kids. The parents sigh in relief as they drive off, experiencing their first moment of silence in 6 days. They joke a bit as they pull out of the subdivision. "Where are we going?" Crystal says. "I don't care. Let's just drive until we find a place." During dinner, these exhausted parents can't muster up the energy to enjoy each other as they check in with the sitter. When they finally can focus, the conversation is ping pong, with Chase talking about chaos at work while Crystal talks about the kids. The date turns into a business meeting. Sunday comes, and the franticness continues of getting the troops all dressed up and off to church. Everyone has their act together, seemingly. Sunday brunch happens, followed by watching football while the kids run around the house. Crystal keeps trying to get Chase's attention to do some weekly planning, but it never happens. Chase can only focus on the next 3 hours of the game before jumping back into work to get a head start on Monday morning. Monday comes back around, and this family is now at the mercy of the clock, calendar, and their charges. Work travel amplifies the chaos every other week, and additional logistics are added to manage the home. This is an example of a home that we can all relate to. There is nothing wrong in the grand scheme of things. However, Chase and Crystal are on autopilot and are completely empty. There's no margin, no communication, no rest, little connection with the kids or each other, and very little smiling. They both are trying to survive each day at work and at home. They are more than tired. They are empty. They are disconnected. They are frustrated with their home and life. I can relate to this story all too well. Though my home has made some intentional moves to be slower in recent years, we still battle the pace of the culture. We still battle remaining connected. We still battle the chaos of getting out of the door. And we still battle finding the time to actually rest. The dream we all have is to raise good kids, provide for them, and to ensure we've saved enough money for a rainy day and retirement. Nothing is wrong with that pursuit. It's admirable. Except that if climbing the ladder becomes the most important thing we center in our lives, we miss out on so much more. Relationships. Without relationships, we live a life of regret. Humans thrive off the bonds with loved ones, neighbors, friends, and colleagues. We thrive when we are connected heart to heart. We thrive when we sacrifice the need to climb the ladder to help those who may need help to get to the ladder. The rat race and productivity culture is a large ocean that can swallow up the best of us. We all have a battle to fight, the tug of war providing for the home versus being present in the home, remaining competitive at work while remaining connected in the home. Balancing it all is a constant battle. It's why work-life balance is not a permanent destination, but a constant mindset on our journeys. However, the solution to balancing and eradicating burnout differs for every home. Some of us have aging parents and young kids. Some of us are business owners. Some of us are in industries that mandate travel, constant travel. And some of us are executives with many people to manage. Some of us have the perfect job but still face daily chaos. Some of us homeschool and have special needs for our kids. The list goes on and on of the many variances of our situations. However, work still must get done. Bills have to be paid. The world continues to spin. For those in a work-life rut, it isn't easy to see a way out. Quitting a job is not an option. Looking for a new job or clients takes longer than what exists. Living off savings for a while seems drastic. Starting a new business may have never been an aspiration. Asking for a demotion goes against the rules of LinkedIn. Saying no to more activities in the community or church is deemed sacrilegious. Being stuck is an understatement, but it does not have to be. This episode is brought to you by Own Your 5 to 9, an organization committed to freeing families of the rat race and burnout. Every organization has a leader, mission, and a set of values that drives the organization. But this is commonly missed in the most important organization in the world, the family. An organization has one mission for how it will impact the world. Why not the family? An organization goes into strategic planning routinely to align its values, mission, and projects. Why not the family? Whose Home, a strategic planning guide for families, is a workbook and a tool needed in all households. Whose Home takes a strategic planning approach with 10 guided exercises to define your core family values, family mission, and tools to operationalize how your family does life together. If your family is facing a big decision, Whose Home is for you. If you're considering a career pivot, Whose Home is also for you. If you desire more intentionality and harmony in your home, Whose Home is for you. Create a healthy culture, not a hustle culture, at home. Visit ownyour5to9.com to claim your copy today. So let's get back to the accident that Chase had on the golf course. Chase had rationalized that getting in a game of golf would have solved his burnout. Getting 2 hours on a Wednesday afternoon to golf was not only a treat, it felt like heaven to him. Chase not only missed the breaks, he missed the entire point. 2 hours on the golf course or any other hobby does not cure burnout. Vacations don't cure burnout. An occasional long weekend does not cure burnout. These are significant steps in the right direction, but it's just a Band-Aid. The solution to beating burnout goes deeper than just reclaiming time. For those of us who are nurturing families, it starts at home. It begins with reassessing your most precious values in life in your home and then collectively coming together as a family to create a mission, vision, and goals for the home. The home is the first organization. The home is the first ministry. The home deserves just as much attention as any other entity in life. If you're facing career burnout and the family may be struggling, I strongly recommend the Who's Home Workbook, the strategic planning guide to protect your family culture from the rat race. It's loaded with discussion exercises to help your family reclaim time, joy, and intentionality in life. The guide is designed to work at your own pace, and the results are impressive. Not only to set a new mission and purpose, but to also live it out. You can find a link in the show notes, or you can visit ownyour5to9.com to claim a copy. A governor on a golf cart limits the speed. It's an essential safety feature. It forces the driver to be patient. Where is this device for humans? In a world run by the pursuit of prosperity, promotion, and progress, we need a governor. In a world where we are applauded for climbing the ladder, doing more, and doing it all, we need a governor. In a world that is preying on our kids' eyes, hearts, and souls, we need a governor. In a world that needs more hands to help the poor, the sick, and oppressed, we need a governor. In a world that promotes picking sides and being divisive, we need a governor. And in a world that loves hustle, we need a governor. We need to slow down. Our safety mechanism in life is a governor. That governor is inside each of us, and it's called our heart. This is not only our safety mechanism, it's the heart that resets how we run our races. When our heart is entirely in tune with God's will for our lives, we can see life vastly different. We can say no to more. We can say no to faster. We can say no to bigger. Where's our governor? Where's our heart? What's happening to our families? Why are we chasing temporary happiness based on how high we can get on the ladder? Where and how has that become the measure of all of our success? We need a governor, and we desperately need to redefine success. In fact, we need to replace the word success with words like enough, contentment, peace, quiet, love, authenticity, integrity, gentleness, self-control, and purpose. Over the last 5 years, humanity has realized that family values really do matter. However, a shift is happening again in our world. Inflation, tariff wars, stock market tanking, rumors of wars, big tech getting bigger, and all the news is louder than ever. It's driving all of us to live in fear instead of living with faith. We have hearts, and this is our biggest differentiator with the artificial intelligence. But we must use our hearts for good. At some point when our hearts are set on loving instead of getting ahead, we can slow down no matter what the world says do. So what does that look like? It's a life that prioritizes the following: daily self-care, self-reflection, and quiet times. routine movement, grounding, and exercise, routine time in nature, routine investments in passions, hobbies, and interests, white space on the calendar, significant time with family and friends, and significant time supporting and serving and loving others. In humanity's rich diversity, these governor-like vices are all doable. If you're looking for a place to start with boundaries on the calendar. Make the time, block the time, take the time. Make time work for you. Thank you for listening to the Work-Life Eubiosis podcast, part of the Work-Life resources created by Own Your 5 to 9. I hope that you have found encouragement and a few ideas to strengthen your journey to purpose, freedom, and balance. Have you overcome burnout and found a new way of life? Millions around the globe are still at the risk of burnout and losing it all. And your story may be the one that sparks not only a dream, but action. Visit ownyour5to9.com for more information and submit your story. While you're there, join the Work-Life Eubiosis newsletter and receive additional resources weekly right to your inbox. If you enjoy this podcast, take time to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Share it with a friend or loved one. Remember, the most important organization in the world is the family. Let's do our part to strengthen it. Thank you for listening.